Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's review, I'm going to be doing a review to The Apprentice episode 8, 2024, series 19. So, at the beginning of this episode, we found out that the next task was going to be something revolving hot sauce and food, because the candidates were going to a restaurant called Los Mochis, which I presume was something Spanish, European, Italian, something like that. And before it was revealed what the task was, Malika said that she was feeling ready as ever. Chizola said it could be something Spanish, and potentially something to do with being vibrant. Yeah, something fun and vibrant. We found out that the restaurant they went to was a vibrant fusion restaurant that did a variety of different dishes. And Lord Sugar explained that people now all of a sudden have an appetite for spicy foods, and the industry makes over £100 billion per year. What they had to do in this task was to create a recipe, a TV advert, present it to a panel of experts, and obviously the team that makes the most money would win the task. And the team that makes the least money, at least one person on that team would be fired. So, obviously we've got an odd amount of people on the different teams. I think we had 6 on one team and 4 on the other. So, yeah, basically we ended up switching people from one team to the other. So, from Team Ascendancy, we had Dean and Malika move over to the other team. And then from Team Parallel, we had Liam, Emma and Jordan move over to the other side. So, Team Parallel. For this task, we had Amber, she was the project manager. You had Max and Chizola, and then you obviously had the new recruits, Dean and Malika. And then for Team Ascendancy, you had Mia, who became the project manager, with Anissa, and then their 3 new recruits, Liam, Emma and Jordan. So again, very interesting mix of team here. I don't really know who works well together and who doesn't, because obviously these tasks are all so short, and there's only 8 tasks worth. But you've got to remember at the beginning, all of the girls were together, all of the guys were together. It's almost like they're just bringing people back together who had already worked together, which is quite nice. Right, let's start with Team Parallel. So Amber Rose decided that she would be project manager once again. So again, it was a battle of the girls, Amber Rose versus Mia. So for Amber Rose, she said in terms of the hot sauce, she felt like she wanted to go for something fiery, something for a thrill seeker, with Dean adding that there could be some sort of slight risk. Amber explained that she potentially would want something that has bold colours and something that's bright, and she feels like it is a bit of a risk, but she's happy to absolutely take that risk. Chizola said that there's lots of hot sauces out there already, so they need to be experimental, and I think Amber Rose basically explained, what did she say? She said spicy and experimental sounds great, so it's having like a hot sauce but also having it experimental. She put Dean as a sub-team leader, which actually he then replied back to saying, well, hang on, I've only been sub-team leader once on a project where the industry was completely not for me, and this is not my industry, and it's happened again. And he just said, you know, just because he has kids, he was put as sub-team leader for a kids related task, but it's a weak subject for him, as is hot sauce. And then Max jumped in and said, you know, he's happy to be sub-team leader, he's happy to put, you know, add value into the hot sauce team, and he's happy to take the lead of that, saying he has a clear vision, or he's clear on the vision that Amber Rose wanted. So yeah, Max was the sub-team leader, with Dean obviously helping him. And then Amber Rose was with Chizola and Malika, and they were obviously discussing to try and make sure that whatever they were creating had a clear message. Max and Dean were trying different spices. Super fiery was one of them, and Amber Rose, obviously in the meeting, said that, you know, they should just go all in and go for something really, really fiery. The world's hottest chili from 2023 was called a Carolina Reaper. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's experimental. I would just say they're just going for something that is known. Everyone knows what that is if you're in the hot spice world. So yeah, Dean explained it wasn't too overwhelming, with Max saying, yeah, it's not actually that hot with whatever they tried. And it was obviously down to the 3 girls to discuss what they were doing for their video idea. So Chizola said some sort of prison. She could obviously take a sip of the bottle, and then for some reason she's able to escape the prison. Amber Rose asked Chizola if she wanted to be in the advert, with Malika saying, well, actually, I'd want to be in the advert. I've done a drama degree, I got an A in it, and you know, I really wanted to be chosen. And Amber Rose said, look, you know, I completely understand that an A in drama doesn't really mean anything. I just feel like I want to have Chizola in the movie, and I can give you some kind of directing roles. Back to the boys in the kitchen. They were spending a lot of time trying different recipes and just going for things that were really boring. So it was just like tomato, garlic, like your normal standard. You're just making a hot sauce, and it's just a hot sauce. There's nothing like special or wow or experimental. It's just the standard things. So yeah, Max basically said he felt like it was packed with heat, and they added things like honey, garlic and tomato. Again, very simple ingredients there, nothing that shouts, oh, that's unique. And then Dean jumped in saying, let's add 2 cloves and also a tomato, with Baroness Brady also jumping in saying, look, tomato, onion and garlic, it's boring, it's not experimental. When they revealed their ingredients to the other half of the team, Chizola jumped in saying, are there any unusual ingredients? And the boys basically said, well, no, the most experimental part is the Carolina Reaper spice or chili, with Amber Rose saying, yeah, it's not experimental, which is what they expected. During the filming, so obviously Chizola was the actress, Amber was the director, and Malika was kind of there also trying to help a little bit. She actually questioned why Chizola was getting arrested, and Amber Rose was basically saying that, you know, we've already discussed this in the pitch, we've discussed the storyline and how these different parts are going to be filmed and put together, so just let us get on with it, because we're kind of just, yeah, wasting time. And then Malika said to camera that she felt like she was sometimes overtaking the directing, but she just wanted to incorporate different gestures and hand movements in order to make it more emotive and more dramatic. It's not a drama degree, you're just making a little short advert, but I get where she was trying to use her kind of skills and her knowledge from that drama degree or course or whatever she did. But yeah, I think the fact that they were on limited time, there's only so much time you can spend on filming, so just do less asking questions, or just give them quick instructions, like quick, put your hand to your face, boom, done. Not, okay, so you need to do this, and this, and this, that, and that. So yeah, I think it was kind of, she was trying to help, but she was taking so long by asking questions. She should have just, if she had an idea, say to the actor, right, when you next do your line, do this, this, and this, make your hair go there, da, 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 done. Rather than, Amber, can we try this as this? Just tell it to the actor. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. But at least you put your idea forward. Just be more quick. Max and Dean went into the branding and decided to go with Dean's name of Bangin Sauce. So the word bangin without the G, so B-A-N-G-I-N. Didn't add a little apostrophe at the end, but Dean added a little bit of an explosion to obviously be like, boom, wow. When their logo and design was revealed to the other half of the team, Amber Rose explained that there was an apostrophe missing on the word bangin to obviously show that it's an abbreviated word. Malika added, is it actually experimental? With Dean saying that it's definitely spicy and it definitely looks experimental enough. Amber Rose explained that with that spelling error, there are probably going to be questions regarding it, why it was illiterate, and that the word didn't have a little apostrophe at the end. And yeah, with the filming, she also explained that with 10 minutes to go, Malika then wanted to change all the scenes and, you know, add all her feedback and views and things like that. Which obviously the other half of the team were like, okay, we now understand there was a little bit of drama on that side. Amber Rose explained that she wanted to send Dean over to the editing team, which I believe meant was doing a swap with Malika, who was obviously going to go and do consumer research. So yeah, Malika and Max were doing source testing, with Max saying to her that she needs to bring a bowl of milk with her, obviously if people are tasting it. And they said that there was no sexiness in the banging, the branding or the actual item itself. It looks like a GCSE project, and the ingredients are quite hot and basic, so nothing that shouts, wow, this is different. It was more just, yeah, I've seen this before. And then when it came to the actual cropping down of the video, Amber Rose explained that she was happy to crop the video down to 30 seconds. She also was being chimed in a little bit by Dean, who said that they needed to cut bits out. It was a little bit too long. You want quick snippets and then just add the branding to the screen once Chizola, the actress, takes a sip of the sauce. You want it, boom, straight on the screen. Max explained that the sauce was quite hot and he was advised by the people that they were doing their hot sauce tasting with that the branding was just a little bit too basic. Amber Rose, Shizola and Max said that they wanted to appeal to thrill seekers who enjoy hot sauce, with Max explaining that their USP is actually the pepper itself. Levi Roots, obviously hot sauce enthusiast, said that it was bland, boring and had no flavours. The president of Grey London said that there was no distinctiveness and questioned how it was actually breaking norms, with Max saying that they were adding that pout element. Obviously, the actual branding confused them a little bit as well, so instead of it saying banging, it said almost ban gin, with Amber Rose basically explaining the pitch was brutal. And she also said to camera that the entire team had apparently understood their brief. If the brief wasn't fulfilled, then that's not her fault. And then for Team Ascendancy, which was led by Mia. Mia basically explained that she has no direct experience, but she is passionate. I think this is passionate about videos or video creating or something like that. Or food. Anissa explained that she has advertising and marketing experience, and she has a food business. Emma said that she would choose Anissa, but in the end, they ended up doing a team vote, going for Mia. Mia explained they wanted to go for something gourmet with a medium-level spice, and they obviously had to start thinking names. Liam said subtle spice. Emma said spicy and nice. Mia thought of umami, which is obviously a Japanese word for, I think, savoury. And Anissa said, yeah, it's a Japanese word. Mia chose Anissa as a sub-team leader. Anissa said that, you know, she kind of didn't really have much of a brief as to what she was to create, but she felt like going down a sort of southern Asian style sauce, as that's kind of like her business. Yeah, that's kind of like her business aura, I believe. And she was obviously in the kitchen alongside Jordan. I think that was quite stressful within itself, but I'm sure we'll get onto that in a second. Anissa explained to Jordan that obviously Mia had basically said it was up to her what she wanted to create. And then in the kitchen, she basically said, right, we need to go for these gourmet ingredients. So something like saffron is actually the most expensive spice. Using something like a Scotch bonnet, having like a sweet undertone, adding ingredients that sound expensive was what they needed to do. With Jordan saying he hopes that Anissa makes something great. So I think in the kitchen, Anissa was completely taking control. I think Jordan was trying to help and was trying to, you know, give ideas and stuff, but it was almost like she just running around like a headless chicken in the kitchen. Like everything he said, it was kind of like, it didn't taste good, or not enough XYZ. And she was like, right, we'll stop moaning, let's just keep making. And I think he was trying to give feedback saying, well, what you're making is just not good. They had 3 different testers and they didn't realise that they were, you know, running out of time. So yeah, they were just screwing that up a little bit. Liam explained to Emma and Mia that for their video, they should create some sort of advert to make it almost like a date, with Mia saying they could have the bottle on the table, for example. And then back in the kitchen, Jordan explained that what they had created so far looks quite unpleasant. And yeah, Anissa said they should try some new ingredients like a fig or an artichoke, with Tim jumping in saying, guys, you only have 20 minutes left to actually create something. Anissa explained to Jordan that they don't necessarily need to like the sauce, they just need to mellow it out. They've made 3 samples and none of them taste good, with Jordan saying that the one that they made right at the end was actually quite an acquired taste. She said that it was a lot harder than expected, and it was kind of like a sweet hot sauce, with Liam asking what the colour of it was, and Anissa said it's almost like a thick chutney. She did also reveal that there was no sample created, which was obviously a big problem, and obviously very hectic for them to actually just get a recipe down in the first place. In terms of the branding, they decided to go with the name that Mia wanted, and obviously therefore should be at least happy with the name of the item, even though they didn't get a trial of it. Back to the video editing. So obviously, well, for the actual video filming, Mia had to think of things on the spot. So I think she kept trying to think of ideas to kind of get around the fact that they didn't have the sauce, and then Emma jumped in a little bit saying, oh, you know, we could just add the sauce, da da da. And Mia's like, well, hang on, no, we actually don't have the sauce. Stop giving me ideas that involve the sauce, because we do not have the sauce. And she's like, yeah, but the sauce. It's like, no, we haven't got the sauce. So yeah, a bit funny to watch. I don't think Emma was being disruptive on purpose. I think she was just trying to help. Yeah, Mia said that potentially Liam obviously was in the video with this girl, and there was a guy waiter, and she said that Liam could just lick the plate clean after the sauce had been used, being like, oh no, we haven't got any of the sauce left. With Mia basically saying to Emma, we need to use the empty plate and we need to use our imagination. That's the best we can do, and we didn't have that long to come up with an idea. Jordan said that adding yellow and red colours for their sauce would be quite a good idea. And when they came down to obviously show the other team, Anissa said nothing says breakfast than a hot sauce. Mia said that it looks good, and it's good that they use products that actually look gourmet, with Jordan saying that it's a little bit thick. Liam said it doesn't really taste gourmet and they probably should have added some more water. So he also didn't taste the mango, and it didn't feel like any form of Indian or Asian sauce. Mia said she was gutted about not actually having the product, which obviously made it a lot more stressful doing the video. And Jordan said that for the video, getting somebody to lick a plate was definitely not showing that the item was gourmet. It was over to Emma and Anissa to go and get feedback, and on the video editing it was Mia, Jordan and Liam. Someone said that it felt like they just got a load of gourmet ingredients all mixed together. Umami means savoury, and this tasted sweet, and they were also disappointed on the flavour of the actual sauce as well. Mia explained that their issue was obviously not having the product. I think Jordan, Mia and Anissa were doing the pitch, and Jordan said it's almost like you got Asia in a tin. So Pip Hubbard from VML said that she's not really seeing any sauce. You know, in the advert you kind of want to advertise your item, you want to actually see the item that you're about to eat. So Mia explained that's all part of the illusion. She's kind of leaving it up to you, to your imagination, and that sometimes the sauce is that good, sometimes you just have to lick the plate in order to be able to sell the item that little bit extra. Levi Roots added that the viscosity and the density is actually a little bit too much. And Anissa jumped in and said that it could be used as like a base, so you could mix it with things like mayonnaise, or it could be mixed and used as some sort of marinade for like a chicken, for example, or, you know, if you don't eat meat, vegetables. And the CEO or manager of Heinz also questioned what does it mean in terms of the umami, the name of the item. Mia said it's savoury, but it also has some sweet elements, and it's a hot sauce. And, you know, obviously her questioning why the product wasn't in the video. If it does come down to that, then it's down to Anissa, because she's the one that was in charge in the kitchen. So when we got back to the boardroom, Amber Rose explained that because she has an Asian convenience store, she felt like her skills were aligned to be the project manager in this task. It was Max and Dean who were obviously in charge of the sauce, and Malika said that she thought that the boys had thought that the Caroline Reaper was actually an experimental item. Well, actually, it was just the hottest kind of chili out there, so it wasn't anything abnormal. It was just actually just the hottest of something. Baroness Brady Karen also revealed that the boys didn't actually try any of the 40 products that were advertised in the little cooking section. They kind of just went with 3 or 4 unoriginal items. And Lord Sugar questioned Dean on the use of the word banging, kind of saying, I've never really heard that before. And I think he said it was something from like his town, or I think he's from Essex. And he was like, Lord Sugar, have you never heard of that before? When you say, you know, this thing's banging and your shirt looks banging and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, that didn't really go down well. Amber Rose explained that for the video, they wanted to go down the humour route. And Lord Sugar explained after watching the video, they wanted to lock them up. He wanted to lock them up and throw away the sauce, not the key. Amber Rose explained that their negative feedback was more on the sauce than actually on the advert, and Baroness Brady explained that actually it was actually on all aspects that were critiqued, not just the sauce. Lord Sugar explained that, yeah, it was just bland and boring. And Anissa, for the other team, said that she wanted to obviously focus on gourmet ingredients, and after heating the sauce it did actually become a little bit thinner, but obviously they didn't realise the consistency and how thick the sauce was going to be. The name of the item is what Mia had put forward, and it's not necessarily a name of an item or a name of a sauce, it's just kind of a flavour profile, kind of referring to something in obviously the Japanese culture. And then Lord Sugar questioned Liam, obviously being set in a gourmet restaurant eating chips with no sauce, and the fact that he probably doesn't have a girlfriend. Mia explained that obviously not having received the tester sauce or the sample sauce, she needed to think quickly about the product and how to be able to sell the product. So yeah, licking a product was just her quick 0.4 in the moment second idea. And Anissa said, so it seemed to be all just herself when she was creating the sauce, and that Jordan didn't really have much input. And he said he tried to jump in and he just wasn't really listened to, or wasn't able to kind of get his words in. So in the end, Lord Sugar actually explained that for Amber Rose's team, their product, again, like I said, was bland and boring, and the advert was more than pathetic. And Mia / Anissa as project sub-team leaders team, their sauce looked and tasted like cement, and again, their advert was also pathetic. Lord Sugar basically said that there was no winner from this week, and there'll be one person fired on both teams just because they were both just as bad as each other. Amber Rose explained that she wanted the sauce to be experimental. Max explained he's not responsible because he's tried to get involved as much as possible. Chizola said that Malika should be fired due to her continued questions, and Amber Rose said that Malika had absolutely no contribution in this task. For Mia's team, Liam said that Anissa actually never handed the product over. Mia also jumped in saying that they missed the product from the video. Anissa and Jordan said that they hadn't picked up on the contribution of obviously not having the product, and Jordan didn't contribute to the work. And Liam said that they could have probably done the entire task, although with Emma saying that they had no product. So it's not just down to Anissa, it's also down to Jordan too, because he was also with her. It's not just Anissa's fault. So when Lord Sugar brought both of the teams back in, he let them all discuss and then summarised before getting rid of one person on both teams. So for Amber Rose, apparently her brief was quite vague, and Dean said that the sauce was tasty and it was quite fiery, but obviously it was quite basic. And Max explained that him and Dean both take responsibility for the sauce. Amber Rose explained that the product, the advert, was disappointing. It would have been better without it. And yeah, the actual shooting of the advert would have been better if Malika wasn't there disrupting. She needs to be concise with her ideas and not be disruptive. And Amber Rose decided to bring back Malika and Dean into the boardroom, so the other two were let go. And Mia explained that obviously there was two main errors, obviously the sauce and having no product. She said that Anissa was responsible. Anissa explained that she was too focused on creating the sauce and the actual recipe, that, you know, when it got to the time of actually sending the sample, they just didn't have time to do that. And Jordan had said many a times to get the sauce sent over. And Mia explained that Emma, her contribution was just not great in this task at all. So project manager Mia decided to bring back both Anissa and Emma. So obviously the six of them went back out. Lord Sugar discussed with Baroness Brady and Tim what was to be done. So for Karen, she said that Amber Rose's idea was terrible. Dean was just laid back, but she can see that he wants this opportunity. And Malika has had complaints in all 8 tasks so far. Lord Sugar questioned whether Dean was actually out of his depth, and he doesn't want to speak. And he basically explained to Lord Sugar he doesn't want to speak because sometimes when he speaks it doesn't make sense, i.e. when he was speaking there in the boardroom saying that, because he just said, yeah, sometimes he just muddles his words up and, you know, he's not out of depth, he just doesn't want to not make sense. Amber Rose explained this was the first time and that she's been in this position in the bottom 3 since task 2, and she's contributed to 6 out of 8 wins so far. I think she said she has won 6 out of 8 tasks, with Baroness Brady saying, well, it wasn't just you. And she goes, yeah, well, yeah, I know I contributed to all 6 of those tasks. Lord Sugar asked Malika who he should fire out of the 3 of them, and she said it was a very tricky one, with him saying, yeah, absolutely. And she said, actually, you should fire both Dean and Amber Rose, which I think was just a quick way of saying, just don't pick me, just anyone else is fine. And Amber Rose basically backfired straight away, saying we would have had the same result with or without Malika in this team. And yeah, Lord Sugar basically explained that obviously because of Malika's traits of jumping in and, you know, her negative feedback and things that they've heard about her in the process so far, she replied saying that her trait can be improved. She needs to think before she speaks. And Lord Sugar said, well, the fact that you've now just admitted that you have been, you know, causing trouble and, you know, disagreeing with people and just being a nuisance in some of the tasks, he said, you know, Malika, you're fired. So she was out of the process. The other team were also in the room at the same time, so I'm just summarising it separately, but all 6 of these candidates were in the room listening to each other's conversations at the same time. So for Mia, Anissa and Emma, Lord Sugar questioned to Apprentice, Brady and Tim as to whether she was just a silent assassin. No product, but Karen said that she was a problem solver, which she absolutely likes. With Anissa, Tim basically explained that she's made errors, but she takes accountability for them and pushes forward to constantly be the leader, or at least some form of lead. And then Baroness Brady said about Emma that Tim and her, I think, both agreed, basically saying that they're both in agreement that she is the weakest on this side. Mia explained that she stuck her neck out, she couldn't really do any more in this task. Anissa explained that she's been in leadership positions along the whole way in this journey, and mistakes do happen, but she moves forward. Lord Sugar said that's a good thing for him to have heard from her, because it shows that she's confident within herself. And then Lord Sugar asked Emma what has she done in these last 8 weeks. She said that she can definitely sell. She sold the most in task 4. She has a good business concept in the business market around obviously having some sort of coffee branch or some sort of coffee business in London. And he then actually jumped in and said, we don't want to talk about business plans and, you know, business concepts and stuff. We're still just doing task by task by task. He also looked at Anissa and said, look, you made a massive mistake not creating that product, but everyone's allowed a massive mistake. This is her massive mistake. And he said he's going to ignore her failure and give her another chance in the process. And he hasn't actually seen anything from Emma in the last 8 weeks that makes him go, wow. So Emma was the second person fired in the episode. So we now have 6 people left in the programme. We have Amber Rose, we have Max, we have Chizola, we have Dean. Oh no, we have 8. We don't have 10. We have 8. So we have Amber Rose, we have Max, we have Chizola, we have Dean, we have Mia, we have Anissa, we have Liam, and we have Jordan. So they are the final 8. Again, I think episode 7 and episode 8 were quite spicy, mind the pun, hot sauce. But I think, yeah, it was right for there not to be a winner, because I think both of the hot sauces were just as bad. I think one of the hot sauces was just thick, and one of the hot sauces was just like your ordinary standard hot sauce, which didn't really sell as unique and different and experimental. It was just hot sauce and thick hot sauce. But yeah, if you did enjoy my review, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. We're almost at the end of this series, and it's very, very exciting, because it's just very exciting to see who the next business partner is going to be for Lord Sugar. Who can we have a little stalk at on LinkedIn? Who's going to, you know, have their new business plan and, you know, making millions every year. So it's going to change someone's life, and it'll be one of these 8. But yeah, if you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And until my next review, thank you for watching, and goodbye.